This is CES MMA.
All right, let's take a look at the Badass Incorporated tail of the tape. As we mentioned, TUNDEE ODUMUSO comes in at 1-1, 5'7", so it's an even height advantage in this bout. And now we have TJ Hepburn on the other side. He comes in at 1-0, having won his debut last June, 24 years of age. Should be an exciting bout. Let's send it down to our cage side announcer, Rick Provost, for the official introduction.
This is the Badass Incorporated bout of the evening. Your referee in charge at cage side is Dan Miragliotta. This fight is scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds in the welterweight division. First, fighting out of the red corner, weighing in at 172 pounds with a professional record of 1 win and 1 loss, out of Johnston, Rhode Island, representing New England Combat. Please welcome TUNDEE ODUMUSO. And his opponent, fighting out of the blue corner, weighing in at 165 pounds with a professional record of 1 win and no losses, with 1 win by way of submission, out of New London, Connecticut, representing 802 MMA, please welcome TJ Carnivore Hepburn. 5 rounds, welterweight division.
Well, Mike, it'll be interesting to see if he comes out, if TUNDEE comes out with using some striking, using some distance, trying to keep TJ off, knowing that he's such a stud wrestler.
TJ Hepburn did mention that point yesterday, saying a lot of people underestimate a wrestler's ability to strike, but he said, you know what, wrestling's so hard to learn, we actually pick things up faster than most fighters do. So we'll see if that turns out to be true tonight in round number 1. Hepburn is in the maroon and black. In fact, both fighters do have maroon, reddish, black trunks on, so it may be hard to tell them apart. TUNDEE's are a little bit tighter, so let's just go with that.
TUNDEE in the spandex,
exactly,
and TJ in the board shorts would be the best way to put it.
And when Hepburn won his debut by knockout, I asked him about that, and he said, you know what, I wanted to prove people wrong and let my hands go. And he did just that, and he won it with 1 second remaining in the opening round of his bout, which happened to be 5-minute, or actually it was a 5-round bout. And he won it in the opening round with 1 second to go, letting his hands go. So we'll see if he can actually put some of that wrestling ability to use tonight. It'd be so interesting to see if and when this fight gets to the ground what he has in store. When you're talking about a D2 national champion wrestler, it's a lot of pressure to live up to.
It is, and again, remember, this is MMA, this isn't wrestling, but as you see more and more, a good, solid wrestling base allows you to develop your other skills. You have a real huge amount of confidence in your wrestling. It allows you to throw your hands. If I happen to get in a little trouble, I can shoot in. I can use those things to my advantage. So being that high caliber, high level wrestler, it's always a threat. Every time, like you just saw TJ faint and he fainted down like he was going to go for a shot, you have to respect that.
That's a great point. He would never really be nervous being taken to the ground because he spent his entire collegiate career
on the ground.
On the ground. Nice rear leg, too, from Hepburn. We saw a flash of that. 3:15 to go in round number 1.
Guys still feeling each other out, trying to find their distance here. Nice rear leg from TJ, and a nice counter by TUNDEE, answering that rear leg kick.
Caught him on the way out. Nice reflexes. See a little bit of speed from both fighters. And again, trying to feel each other out.
Now TUNDEE throws the rear leg.
So that might end soon.
Well, you really don't want to throw a ton of rear legs to a wrestler. They'll grab your leg, or they're a real explosive shot when you only have 1 foot on the ground. Very hard to defend your takedown.
At some point, you expect Hepburn to shoot for a takedown, but maybe he's trying to draw him in at some point or lull him into a false sense of security.
Now you see TJ kind of slowing. Nice big overhand right that missed. You see him slowing his feet down now. He's not boxing right now. Now he's kind of stalking. You might see him looking to set up that shot. What I do like that TUNDEE is doing is he's answering at every single opportunity. If he gets kicked, he's answering with punches. If he slips a jab, he's trying to counter right away. Even if he's countering with a feint, he's making TJ react to it. Nice stiff jab. A lot of movement, a lot of good footwork here. Nobody wants to stand still and let the other guy get off.
Yeah, it definitely hasn't been a stalemate, despite the fact that they're both trying to feel each other out. A lot of movement, a lot of circle in the cage.
Well, both fighters have confidence in their hands. You can see that. No one's even thought about taking a shot yet. Nice rear leg by Tunde.
ODUMUSO's looked solid so far in round one, and you would think that victory in October certainly went a long way toward building his confidence.
Oh, without a doubt. If you can feel, the more comfortable you feel in that cage, the more relaxed you are, the more you just allow things to happen rather than try to create things. And nice lead leg to the head was just a little short by Tunde. Yeah, you feel more comfortable in there. Now look for the shot. You know, we're getting closer to be under a minute. Like TJ might look to try to break the stalemate of the round with the takedown. But one of the problems you have with a lot of excellent wrestlers, there's the shot that I was just talking about.
Just as you said, he did shoot in briefly for that takedown. The round is there to be taken by somebody in these final 30 seconds.
Correct,
guys.
I agree. But he didn't set that shot up. He just went for it. Had he set it up with a jab or a feint, he might have been able to lock Tunde up. That rear leg's paying dividends right now for Tunde. Here's the shot we talked about. Tunde did a great job. Excellent job of fighting this off. And now TJ got him down. He did a great job stuffing it out of the gate.
He did. For a while there, for about a good 5 seconds, he did snuff it, but Hepburn's strength overwhelmed him. And so now
if you noticed, he shot for that double, then chain wrestled to the single and spun the back door. He did a great job of finishing that takedown.
Well, there it is, the end of round number one. A bit of a stalemate at times, but some action toward the end of the final 30 seconds. Again, like you point out, those rear leg kicks working real well for Tunde ODUMUSO. Hepburn with the takedown toward the end. He had to really fight for it. ODUMUSO made him work for it.
Most certainly. It wasn't easy. Hardest thing for a wrestler to do is shoot on somebody who's moving. If I stand perfectly still in front of that wrestler, he's just going to take off on you. He's just going to run you through the wall. You have constant movement, left, right, side to side, little circles. That wrestler can't plan for the shot.
It's a good round for Hepburn to get himself reacclimated. Remember, it's been a while since he last fought. It's been more than a year. He's had fights that have fallen through, and for him, it's been tough. He's trying to balance a career with his family life, and he said this year is really going to determine whether or not I do this full time, if this is a real career. So this fight may very well go a long way toward determining what his career goals are going to be in 2014.
You know, you want to see everybody try to at least attain their aspirations in this sport. Trouble is we had two guys with the same aspirations locked in a cage. So only one's going to get that big step tonight.
All right, round number two just about to get underway. Tunde ODUMUSO from Johnston, Rhode Island, and TJ Hepburn fighting out of East Ledyard, Connecticut by way of Kearney, Nebraska, a former D2 national champion wrestler.
Tunde needs to keep moving. He's kind of slowing down his footwork from the first round. And you can see where TJ now is stalking, looking to set up that takedown. One of the things that Brendan Ward does excellent is setting up his shots, setting up his takedowns off his hands. He has very good hands. He'll feint, he'll throw a jab, he'll throw a combination, then shoot under. That's how a very good wrestler utilizes his hands to get inside. And I'm sure he's young. This is TJ. He's very early in his career. He's going to learn these things too. A straight shot might not hit anywhere near as often as a setup shot.
You're right. It's not just enough to rely on your pure wrestling ability. Again, this isn't wrestling, it's mixed martial arts. There's more to it than that. And if anybody can teach him, it's Brendan Ward, for sure.
Yeah, you know, he's got a great camp down there. Jay, you know, it's a great camp down in Connecticut. You could hear that of the cup from here.
Wow. Bit of a low blow by TJ Hepburn.
I think the doctor should look at TJ's foot, make sure he didn't break a toe.
ODUMUSO will get enough time to recover. And as you would advise here, take your time. Do not rush back in there.
Yeah, there's no need to rush back. Fight. Oh, man, don't come back. We didn't get to see the replay. Man.
There's nothing Scott Ream enjoys more than a slow-mo crotch shot.
It's a, you know, can you say nut shot? Because
sure, why not?
All right.
All right, back
It's
to
Christmas.
round number two. It's Christmas time. Under 4 minutes to go in round number two. It's been a close, competitive fight thus far. Tunde ODUMUSO doing a nice job hanging in with a very accomplished wrestler. But again, ODUMUSO has that one victory under his belt from October, some momentum in his favor.
See, the funny thing about a wrestler sometimes, especially a standout wrestler, is they want to prove I can punch.
Right.
They want to prove I can strike. And they get away from incorporating both. Nice stiff jab by Tunde right there that snapped TJ's neck.
Really, he's worked that jab incredibly in these first couple of rounds.
Well, he was taller, as the tail of the tape showed, and it's a matter of keeping him outside. I spoke to John Howard before the fight, and one of the things he was pushing to Tunde was keep him at the end of your jab. Stay off the fence and keep him at the end of your jab.
And you especially want to stay off that fence in case Hepburn again shoots for those takedowns. You run out of real estate, it's hard to fend off.
You can see Tunde right now, he's smack dab in the middle of the CES marker in the middle of the cage. Exactly where he wants to be. The more he can see it, the more he's looking down at that CES marker, the more he wants to get in the middle of it. That means he's too close to the cage.
That's exactly where he needs to be too. You're right, 100%.
You watch, you'll be very surprised as he always regains himself. He might back off a little bit, but Tunde steps closer and closer to the CES logo, reason being middle of the cage, farther away from the fence, so you don't get stuck on it. And he's circling. He's not backing straight up. He's doing a great job of circling right, circling left, and then pumping the jab when he sees it.
It looks like he has a game plan and is executing it. A nice combination of those rear leg kicks and the jabs really kept Hepburn at bay.
A nice straight right hand to the body there. If he puts a couple, that was a really rocket fast shot. TJ did a great job. Now he's working very hard at trying to control Tunde on the ground.
Well, sometimes the best laid plans don't work out. Scott, looked like Tunde had everything working for him, and then Hepburn shoots in.
This is
violent takedown, but he gets him down there.
Depending on what Tunde does with this, it can just be a small bump in the road. Nothing is going to be more frustrating to a ground guy than not being able to keep your opponent there or finish. So Tunde, as you can see right now, he's trying to maintain that half guard. He's also trying to work a Kimura. Now he's trying to, you're going to see TJ use the crossface like he just did to set Tunde's shoulders back down.
Yeah, not quite full mount here, more of a side mount.
It's a half guard, half guard at the moment. And a lot of fighters love half guard, won't even try to improve off it.
Now, why is that?
You have a lot of weight on the fighter that's on the bottom. You can control them very well and work the short elbows as you see TJ starting to work. You don't want to create a lot of space. If there's a lot of space, it allows your opponent to slip out the space you're creating. Just as you see now, Tunde did a great job of getting his knee inside that space.
Right on cue.
And with that strike, now you see TJ pass. Wow, to full mount. He did that very well. He's very effective for that. You can hear Tunde's corner trying to say, work off the cage, get away from the cage.
30 seconds to go in round number 2.
TJ doing a nice job using his forearm across Tunde's throat. Tunde gave up his back a little bit. 10 seconds, he might be able to just ride this position out.
Depends on how deep he gets that forearm,
he's
but it's
fine.
not deep.
His chin's tucked right now. Both fighters are going to ride this out.
And as you said, they're going to let that bell ring. The end of round number 2. Good finish for TJ Hepburn. He got the takedown. Second time in this fight toward the end of the round where he gets a late takedown.
Unfortunately for Tunde, it's just that. Late in the round, the fight's very even going to that point. And those takedowns, depending on how you judge a card, how you score a card, could be the difference.
I do feel as though he has had control, Tunde, when they've been standing up. He's been able to keep Hepburn at bay.
I would agree.
Using the jab, using the rear legs. But like you said, it depends on the judge's preference.
He respects your punches. Pump him. Double pump him. Double pump him. Combination. Okay?
It was a very good suggestion by Doomsday. He's telling his fighter that TJ's respecting your punches. So what to do now is to double pump him or feint and then follow behind him.
Go for it, bro. Fuck it. Go for it.
Well, let's hope that Santa Claus wasn't listening to Mr. Howard right then and there. You go on the naughty list for that language. But no, what he basically was trying to do is let his fighter know, you know what? That's all he's got is the wrestling at the moment. He respects your punches. Let your hands go. Put combinations together and go and get this. Go get it.
Here we go. Round number 3. We'll see which fighter goes and gets it. It's been a close fight thus far. Not sure how you really score it.
It's tough. I mean, again, he just opened up for that takedown, but he's so fast. He opened both his arms up and exploded 3 steps away, but TJ's so fast at shooting in underneath that Tunde couldn't respond quick enough.
You almost feel as though if he were a shade slower, he'd be telegraphing it, but it doesn't
Absolutely.
almost matter with his speed. Like you said, he's so quick.
It's explosive. It's one of those things that wrestlers are taught to explode their shots, and obviously at the caliber and the level that TJ is, he does that very well. Tunde's doing a good job right now trying to create a little space and separation, trying to work his knee on a hip.
This is tough for TUNDEE ODUMUSO because when he was taken down in rounds 1 and 2, it was late in the round and he has some time to work on his game plan. Right now, it's the opening seconds, and now if he's in a precarious position and can't get back up, he's in a tough spot where he really can't win the
dominant.
fight.
But you're going to see here TJ trying to climb to mount, and he gets it. It was very tough. Tunde was doing a nice job of trying to get a butterfly in there, but TJ just used all his balance to his advantage there. Wrestlers have phenomenal balance and feel on the ground when it comes to rolling, of course.
With 3.5 to go in round 3, this could very well be where the fight stays for the remainder of this 3rd round.
Yeah, shaking TJ off your back now he's got 2 hooks in. He's trying to go after the neck. It's going to be very tough to do to shake him off.
The key this time, I think, Scott, was TJ Hepburn being a little more aggressive at the start of the round.
Well, you got to go to your base. You got to go to your bread and butter. I mean, you got a tough fight in front of you. You got a very game opponent. You got to go to your bread and butter. You got to work what you're better than your opponent at.
2 big right hands from Hepburn trying to soften up the defense. And there's another. ODUMUSO doing a nice job. It's definitely a tough position to be in. He's handling it as best he can.
He's not allowing him to get underneath the chin and pull up on the neck for the rear naked. TJ's got a bit of a crank going, but Tunde's doing a nice job defending it. TJ did a nice job switching to the other side. Now he's under the neck.
Looks pretty deep now, Scott.
What Tunde needs to do, there's your tap.
There it is. With 2.5 minutes to go in round number 3, TJ Hepburn gets the submission victory, rear naked choke. Great execution, and again, Scott went for the takedown earlier in the round, had more time with which to wear him down basically while he was on the canvas.
To work what he's good at. And I know we're going to see the replay. Watch the shot. He comes from 3-4 steps away and there was no faking this. He was coming at you. And if you moved out of the way, he would have been in the 3rd row. That's how hard he shot. By what you said is correct, though, Mike. TJ going after what he does well, putting him on the ground, keeping him there, punishing him, grinding him out. That was the key to the victory.
TUNDEE ODUMUSO, and there it is, Scott, from another angle.
Yeah, that's the submission. A little bit before that was the shot. What TJ did great on the submission is he was attacking with his right arm underneath Tunde's chin and then transitioned to his left arm. Just kept working each side. We call it swimming in. Able to bring his chin up and secure the rear naked choke.
And right there, you just see the pain that TUNDEE
and you can see
in.
it's a gable grip. That choke was across the ear. It wasn't airway, your esophagus type area, as opposed to a rear naked choke with the elbow deeper. That's a blood choke. That was an air choke.
All right, let's send it down to our cage announcer, Rick Provost, with the particulars.
At 2:28 of the 3rd round, your winner by rear naked choke is TJ Carnivore Hepburn.